Welcome everybody to let me get that right, Dr. Kush's, oh, how do I do this? Like this? Oh yeah, Kush's Exotic Drinks. It's tough, it's all mirrored for me. Welcome guys to Dr. Kush's Exotic Drinks. I'm of course Dr. Kush, and we have a classic for you tonight. Mondays, absolute classics. Start the week off with something you know works. We know that these work. Classics. This is a uber classic, a super uber classic. And we'll get into what and the why and the difference between this and a few other cocktails here momentarily. What makes this cocktail a Silver Fizz, right? Okay, let's start back a little further. The gin fizz. We got some lemon, some sugar, some gin, and some bubbles. Gin fizz. You got it. Nailed it. What makes a Tom Collins? Lemon, sugar, gin, and bubbles. Can anybody in chat tell me when you have a gin fizz and when you have a Tom Collins? I will wait. You guys can go ahead and take guesses. Nope, club soda's in all of them. Nope. Doug has guessed. Okay, nobody's got it. Oh, Doug's saying sugar. No, sugar's in both of them. So it's lemon, sugar, gin, bubbles in the gin fizz, and lemon, sugar, gin, bubbles in the Collins. Same thing. There's one difference that I didn't mention. The difference between a gin fizz and a Tom Collins is a gin fizz has no ice. No ice in a gin fizz. Yes, ice in a gin Collins. Other than that, they're the exact same drink. A gin fizz is meant to be drank like that. It was not in the same way that we talk about the old-fashioned, right? The old-fashioned was basically medicine. Bitters, booze, and sugar. The booze to wake us up, or the booze, don't wake, the booze to calm your head. The sugar to wake us up. The bitters to calm our stomach. It was meant to be taken quick, right down the gullet. Same thing with the gin fizz. Right down the gullet. Make sure that you're serving your gin fizzes with no ice. You take a gin fizz and you add egg white to it, suddenly you have a Silver Fizz. That's the difference between a gin fizz and a Silver Fizz, is the egg whites. That's how we find ourselves in the position that we are right here. The egg, of course, not meant to taste of egg. If you're putting egg into your cocktail and suddenly you're getting sort of a sulfur taste, turn it away. No, thank you. We are, of course, going to be shaking this one. We're shaking this cocktail because we're adding egg white. We want to really get that egg moving and mushing around. The egg is going to be so important for us. It's going to give us that silkiness. That's going to give us that head that we're looking for. Very important. We need 1 teaspoon of some sugar. Found them. You can do this if you want, with simple syrup. That's fine, I guess. Let me just get my weekly sugar out here. Go ahead and put in 1 teaspoon of some granulated white sugar. Next thing we're going to be putting in here is going to be some lemon juice. Obviously, if you want to squeeze some lemon juice right there, great. I look like a buffoon when I squeeze lemon juice. I spray myself in the eye, so I have stopped. Not the lemon squeezing that makes me look like a buffoon. I think maybe the lemon squeezing indicates my buffoonery. I think it's like the neon light of my buffoonery that sort of gets me going. You're going to be putting in, remember this, 1/2 ounce of some lemon juice. Important that at this point, you give this a stir. Make sure we have no sugar. Basically what we have now is lemon simple syrup. Now, the rest of it. Go ahead and grab some gin. Some dry gin, some sweet gin. This is not a London gin fizz or a London Silver Fizz. Since the gin is gonna be the most apparent flavor in here, find a gin you like. I have Kiss gin, cold gin from New York. Not really, a little secret. I believe it's from Sweden. Either way, they make gin in Sweden too. We're gonna go ahead and put in 2 ounces of some gin. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, next thing, new shaker tin. Do not crack your egg into this one with all the stuff in it. I've watched many bartenders get way far behind in their nights because they decided crack, drop it in, and suddenly there's the yolk that's going in, or there's a couple pieces of eggshell. No, do it in the other one. Bring it over here. It's such an easy switch. And then if you make a mistake, throw this out. Then you're not throwing out your booze. I don't have that much more gin back here. I can't afford to make a mistake with everything. So we'll make a mistake over here. There we go. Throw that egg white into it. No yolk, just the white, and then dump it in. Perfect. I'm not saying sometimes, I'm saying always. When you add some egg to a drink, it is always going to make it better if you give it a dry shake first. The dry shake, it's going to do what the egg needs to do without adding too much water to it. If you're shaking with the ice, and you're going to want to put some ice into this, you got to put some water into it. Some, not a ton, but you want to put some water into it. But if you're just shaking with ice only, doing what we call a wet shake, you get too much water in here, you're not going to get that lovely foam that we're so interested in. So let's go ahead and give this a big fat shake. 1, 2, 3. The baby's asleep. There we go. Now let's go ahead and put in our ice. More ice equals less water because of less melting. Since this is a fizz and not a Collins, no ice. Open this up, and then we're going to be putting in anywhere between 2 and 3 ounces of some soda water. And you want to float it down there sort of slowly, and then let those bubbles bring up the foam on top. So here's 2 ounces. If you want to get real fancy with it, take a spoon, drop this in, and then pour along the side of the spoon, because it'll actually help get right, it'll direct the soda water right past where the head of the cocktail is. We can probably go for a little height above it. Not a Ramos, so we're not going to get all that fizz or all that meringue, but that's meringue on there. That's it. Very simple. So, next time you want to be kind of a snot, and you order a gin fizz somewhere, and they give you ice, say, excuse me, sir or madam, or just say, barkeep, I noticed there's ice in my fizz. That's a Collins, sir. Don't do that. Just honestly ask for a Collins with no ice. This is it. It's meant to be drank quick. So, what am I going to say? No? Cheers. Oh, yeah. Put a dent in that.